We know the American-born shooter called 911 to pledge his allegiance to ISIS, but was he a lone wolf, as they say, or did he have any specific direct contact with ISIS or any other terror group? Let's bring in our panel of security and counterterrorism experts. Joining us, our national security analyst, Juliette Kayyem, our CNN law enforcement analyst, Cedric Alexander, our CNN terrorism analyst, Paul Cruikshank. Paul, talk a little bit about the ISIS role right now in this investigation. Update our viewers on what we know, because we know there was one statement alleging that ISIS was directly involved.
That's right, Wolf. This is an ISIS-affiliated news agency, the Amaq news agency in Syria and Iraq, saying that the shooter was an ISIS fighter, but they didn't go so far as to explicitly say that ISIS directed this attack. And indeed, there is no evidence that we know of whatsoever at this point that this shooter had direct ties to ISIS. No evidence that he traveled to Syria and Iraq and was trained by ISIS. So they'll be looking at whether he might have been inspired by the message of ISIS. This is somebody, from everything we're hearing, that had some radical views for at least 3 years. The FBI started investigating him in 2013, Wolf.
Juliette, we did get a statement in from the Massachusetts State Police. And let me read a little bit of this statement for you. You're up in Boston. You follow this closely. During a conference call with federal law enforcement officials just a short while ago, Massachusetts State Police and other local law enforcement authorities learned that the Orlando nightclub gunman, during his rampage, pledged allegiance to ISIS and referenced the Tsarnaev brothers, the terrorists who exploded bombs at the 2013 Boston Marathon. In light of that information, the Commonwealth Fusion Center continues to share information and intelligence with federal authorities investigating the Orlando Terrorist Act, as well as with police assigned to the Boston Regional Intelligence Center. What does it say to you that this individual, this terrorist, Omar Siddiqui Mateen, made reference to the 2013 Boston Marathon attack in that 911 call he made from that gay nightclub?
So it tells me a number of things. First of all, he clearly wanted it to be known. His identity is not a mystery. He had no exit strategy, nor did he intend on surviving the incident. And by invoking the Boston Marathon bombers, I mean, he's showing allegiance, or at least identity, to U.S.-born or U.S. citizens who are radicalized and then attack a soft target, which is very similar to what we experienced up here at the Boston Marathon. Now, what you heard from the Massachusetts State Police and what your viewers need to understand is that what's happening now is scores of phone calls, of situational awareness reports, of trying to put the pieces together to see whether there was any true connection between what happened in Orlando and Boston, but also whether the Orlando attack has any ties to anyone still in the United States or abroad. So that's where the investigation is going to go right now.
And Cedric, you've spent your whole professional career working in law enforcement. This is the worst case, the worst nightmare scenario, a soft target, an individual going in with high-powered weapons and just starting to kill people. How do you prevent anything like that?
Well, first of all, let me say this. My heart and prayers goes out to the family of all the victims. Law enforcement did an incredible job there today. You know, oftentimes, particularly when you have soft targets, Wolf, we can only do so much. But what was important here, the response of local law enforcement, they were able to contain that scene. They were able to save people. They were able to identify a target, go after that target, neutralize that target, and they've saved as many as 30, 40 lives earlier this morning. So I think it's important for us to remain diligent, particularly at this very moment, but at the same time, too, it becomes very important for us to make sure we exercise our freedoms, because that's what makes us a great nation. But that was great work done by local law enforcement and along with the community as well, Wolf.
All right, everyone stand by. We're going to have much more on this coming up. Our Pamela Brown is now on the scene for us in Orlando. Pamela, this is a horrendous, horrendous day in American history.
It certainly is. You can see the crowds here behind me, the nightclub just about a half a mile down. And we know, Wolf, that our coverage of this mass shooting in Orlando will continue right after this break. There were cries for help. One man trapped in the nightclub texts his mother while the shooter was heading his way. and people are lining up to help the victims who need blood. The Red Cross joins us live up next.